12 weeks ago, I put myself in a position where I got so fed up with the lack of productivity in my business and my life that I wrote out 2 columns. One column was, what am I not doing? And the other column was, what am I doing? And I listed essentially all the reasons why I felt like I wasn't achieving the things that I set out to achieve. For me to have all this burning desire, all this ambition, all these ideas, all this passion, and to not be fulfilled with having all these beautiful and miraculous innate gifts and ways of being that God gave me, for me not to be fulfilled, to be honest, it's a fucking tragedy. So I had to actually lay it all out and call myself out. And I did. Here's what I wrote down.
What am I not doing? I'm not producing content campaigns. I'm not actively and consistently practicing Godfidence. I'm not networking with intention. I don't have a lead acquisition strategy in place. I don't do my good money practices. I don't practice my savers in the morning. I'm not cleaning my gut and gaining the energy that I need. I'm not hosting weekly webinars. I don't have a weekly newsletter. I'm not running any ad campaigns. I'm not asking anyone for help. I'm not following through on my own advice. I'm not positioning my offers enough. I'm not marketing the problem. Essentially, I'm not doing any of the things that I teach other people how to do.
All right, so now that you know what I wasn't doing and what I was actually causing to get in my own way, here's what I was doing. Here's what I was focusing on.
I'm relying on hope marketing. I'm relying on my personality to make sales. I'm pretending. I'm failing to follow through on my word. I'm writing to-dos instead of finishing tasks. I'm faking it till I make it. I'm being inauthentic. I'm committing to a weekly podcast, which is cool. I'm choosing distractions over concentration. I'm avoiding discomfort. I'm out of integrity. I'm hoping for luck or to be saved. I'm creating amazing teaching materials. And I'm building a world-class program with the hope that the program will be so good that it'll sell itself.
After 10 years of practicing an unwilling desire to play the game of resistance, I've come to understand that the reason why I resist is because I cannot focus on one thing at a time. I'm overly ambitious. In my journaling practice this morning, I said to myself that I have a blessing and a curse, and it is ambition. And for me to have as many aspirations as I've had, and goals as I've had, and desires, it's a beautiful thing to live that way because you're passionate about life. But it can also be very self-sabotaging and self-destructive. So what did I do about it? Well, the answer is gonna surprise you because it's gonna be so simple. All I did was I took the tasks from what I'm not doing and I opened up my calendar and I started to set dates and resources to every single project, idea, conversation, workflow, everything got optimized inside of my calendar. I got somebody to hold me accountable to my calendar. I put the team members in place so that they can act as the resources to help everything on my calendar be working for me when I was working on my genius. And ultimately, I utilized one of the most basic and yet most powerful tools that we all have access to, and I milked it. Every project, every video, every idea, every conversation, everything got put into the calendar, and I manifested all the results that I was looking to manifest because I actually acted on following through with my calendar. As basic as that sounds, I'm telling you right now that if you follow through on creating a calendar and practice integrity in the way that you utilize your calendar and do the introspective work to be able to realize why you resist what you set in your calendar. Like, think about it this way. If you had a client call, a client pays you for a service, you have to show up to that call. If the call is 9 to 10, then you have to show up 9 to 10 and be on that call. Why are you treating your clients or your servitude or your maybe obligations as if they're more important than the devotion, commitment, and integrity to yourself and to your word? There's resistance there. There's a reason there. So if whatever goes in your calendar you're not following through with, then it's important for you to identify with what that resistance is. And then that's where you realize you have a bottleneck or a blind spot to the ambition, the purpose, or the work that you do. In my case, my resistances came from the conversation related to capacity. I had to acknowledge that I was living in a past memory of taking on too much work and having too many commitments that energetically I could not follow through on. And eventually me burning out led to weeks upon weeks upon weeks of not being able to show up for myself, show up for my clients. So I had to do the looking around why I was getting in my own way, and ultimately had to discover that I was still living in the pain of the past while trying to be present and stressing about the future. I was creating all sorts of timelines in relation to something that was stemming from my past, which was, if I commit to this or if I do too much, then I'm gonna experience pain again. I'm gonna experience the pain of burnout or adrenal fatigue and exhaustion. And that's what I was actually avoiding. Another thing that I realized as I was doing all the introspective work to essentially call myself out was I had to look at what it was about the work that I was doing that wasn't fulfilling to me. Like, it didn't feel like I was making any strides forward. And in identifying what those tasks were, I got super clear on what type of work I can keep for myself and what type of work I can outsource to my team, right? Those 4 systemized thoughts, the 4 systemized questions that I ask myself around, does this align with my greatest vision? Is this essential for the project or goals that I'm currently working on? Who can I delegate this to, and how can I put a system in place so that they can own this project or this task so that I don't have to take care of it anymore? Those 4 questions have helped me stay in my zone of genius, do only the things that I love while advancing my business forward. It's an absolute game changer. If you'd like some help creating those systems, or whether it be developing a world-class practice, timeless, turnkey, and world-class, or whether you want to build a business, a coaching business that is self-sustainable and optimized for scalability, then of course you and I can have a conversation about that, because that is what I specialize in. I can only help you do what I've learned how to do really well for myself. So think about it, and if you're stuck in the rut, let's have a conversation.